this is Oscar Mikey, and welcome back to this Granada Re-Reconquista Ironman run. We're forging ahead, having just won a defensive war against Portugal, Aragon and Naples. And we are still heavily in debt. Go ahead and renew that royal marriage with the Ottomans. We did establish our alliance with the Ottomans in the last episode, so that's good. And we'll start slowly but surely trying to repay the mountain of loans we've so far accumulated. Ever mindful of the fact that we need to keep our inflation reasonably low. Now we can westernize, we won't be doing that just yet. Just taking a look here, more loans being renewed. So we have that looming, that impending disaster I'm not really sure I can do anything about. Go ahead and hire a inflation reduction advisor. That will help combat the mountains of inflation. We are currently receiving subsidies from the Ottomans. I'll increase my military tech level, and I'm going to go ahead. That will stop us from being able to westernize now, but we're not going to westernize until we've totally annexed Morocco. Want to be absolutely confident we don't have any potential adversaries in Africa. Repay another loan. You can see we're getting 1.66 ducats per month from war reparations and 4.82 ducats in subsidies. And if we weren't receiving those subsidies, we would be in a lot of trouble. So thank you, Ottomans, even though we're not at war. We have in excess of 50 power projection, which is great. It's going to increase our total overall monarch point accumulation. And for now, we're just lowering our expenses insofar as possible. Finishing off fabricating claims in Morocco. Here's a nice decision. Local unrest and lower goods produced. Well, we can't exactly afford 100 ducats, so we'll go ahead and take that. Yep, we're just, for the meantime, trying to keep expenses as low as possible and paying off as many loans as we can. We've opted not to ally the Mamluks, even though we can. The reason being is that we are currently allied with the Ottomans, and if we ally the Mamluks and the Ottomans simultaneously, considering the fact that they usually like to fight each other over the Levant, we'll avoid that for the time being. Dominance of the Clergy looks like we're 2 months away to see it until we see exactly what this event produces. Hopefully it's going to be mercifully lenient. We are at peace, so again, we should be able to manage it. I'm aware that we could probably lower influence below 89% by revoking clergy estates, and that will reduce their control below 10%, which will trigger reducing loyalty. As far as I know, though, if we did reset the progress, it would just stall the event, I think. If it's anything like other national disasters. There we go. Clergy has seized power. Lose one stability. Granada will be controlled by the clergy until we curtail the clergy decision. So -1 stability. That's not actually too bad at all. So it appears we're going to have to wait until the influence declines sub 80%. And then once it does, we'll just have to boost our stability by 2. And that should bring the event into cessation. So not too bad, not as bad as I thought. I think it lowers technology research rate, but we're not really spending monarch power on technology for the meantime, so we should be okay. Yet the subsidies we're receiving from the Ottomans is more than the entire amount we earn in taxation, so just goes to show how atrociously poor and undeveloped my provinces are, and given the fact that I have high autonomy. Yeah, we're soon to finish off fabricating these claims in Morocco, and once we do, that is going to be our next target, like I said. Now, we do suffer a minus 15% modifier imposed upon increasing stability, but that's not exactly bad. There's another decision. Take the money and we'll focus on repaying these loans. So, having just paid off 3 loans there, we're down to 17 loans. So many loans. But we did avoid the bankruptcy. So one more claim to fabricate in Morocco. And once we do, we'll go for the full annexation. That should give us mountains of power projection. And then after that, we're going to force a showdown with Castile, Portugal and Aragon. One thing that is especially positive is we have a reasonably good faction leader and a pretty good heir as well. So that's going to keep our technology rate reasonably expeditious. Improvements in production technology. So I'm conserving as much administrative power as I can for the meantime, owing to the fact that we're going to need all of that coring Morocco. And I'll go ahead and insult Castile here. That will keep our power projection above 57. So the Ottomans have decided that, considering the fact that they were giving us money and we weren't currently engaged in a war, that they would stop giving us subsidies. So we're on our own. Duke of Burgundy dies. So Austria has inherited the Duchy of Burgundy. That will boost the relative power of both France and Austria. Not too concerning for the meantime, but in the future, we're definitely going to have to worry about fighting France. But we'll not get ahead of ourselves just yet. Yeah, I could bring ourselves out of the dominance of clergy event now, but again, I want to save that administrative monarch power for coring Morocco, which we will be doing imminently. Only 15 loans now. I see Castile is at war with France, but as part of this strategy, we're not going to be attempting to fight Castile anytime soon. We do still have those truce timers active with Portugal and Aragon. Now that's helpful. We're probably still not strong enough to confront Castile now, so we will wait a little longer before we transition to the final phase of the strategy, which is going to be basically completing the Re-Reconquista and invading the Iberian Peninsula. So again, we can curtail the clergy, but well, we probably could afford to do that now and still have enough administrative monarch power left over to core Morocco. There's our faction leader who just died, which is a good thing. Because, well, the faction leader is far superior. New faction leader, I should say, is far superior to the old one. Yeah, keeping an eye on the Mamluks. Will royal marriage them? That'll preclude them from declaring war on us. But we don't want to ally them, like I said, because, you know, Ottomans. They will be in confrontation with the Ottomans shortly over the Levant. That's always what happens, because the Ottoman gets a mission for it. So, here's our mission complete. Fabricated a claim in Sevilla just in case Castile declares war on us. Sevilla would be our most coveted province in Castile. That would dramatically boost our trade power in the Sevilla trade node. I see Castile has got a very atrocious heir with the 000 monarch power, which is good for us. It's going to keep delaying their technology considerably. And just still repaying loans. Just checking to see if we had a advisor that would lower the cost of increasing stability. Just taking a look here. We are starting to accumulate a decent amount of administrative monarch power, so it's a question of when to fight this war against Morocco. I've decided we're going to be doing it very shortly. However, it's probably not a bad idea getting this clergy national disaster over and done with before we do so. So we need +1. We can westernize, but let's go and take a look at the decision. Curtail the clergy. Oh, okay, so we misread that. Again, this is the first time I've had the clergy assume dominance, so never mind. When we accept the decision, curtail the clergy, we will lose 3 stability. So in total, this has cost us 4 stability, or the equivalent of about 400 administrative monarch power. Not exactly ideal. I will remember that. I have already determined that there's our truce time is expiring. Got to keep an eye on that. And an immediate embargo from Portugal. In the future, I mean, I have determined that using the estates interaction to continue to boost military, administrative, and diplomatic monarch power through the interactions is worth it. I've been using it fairly aggressively all the while, and this is the first time I've really had a negative decision arise as a result of it. So improving relations with Aragon because we have the mission, rival of our rival. Yeah, so all in all, we'll lose 4 stability from that clergy assuming power, but we still received probably about close to 500 or 600 monarch power so far from the interaction. So it's a net positive, is what I'm trying to say. Now, I do know you need to have positive stability to begin westernization. Truce timer is literally about to expire with Morocco. And we have our cores fabricated. We probably have enough administrative power to call their provinces, even though they have Berber traditions, which dramatically increases coring cost. Still got 12 loans. But that's down considerably from our 23, I believe we had at the start of this episode. Still keeping an eye on the Mamluks. The Ottomans are currently fighting someone else. Now we will be keeping an eye on our diplomatic monarch power. I'm really thinking about the ideal time to begin westernization. Our truce time with Morocco's up, so it is expired. So take a look at their total army size. It can't be much. There they are. 7,000, so it's going to be a walkover. We probably won't have to go up to the full force limits. We will have to deal with the fortifications. But we want to win this war quickly, and then we'll focus on westernization. Also, I must not forget to curtail the clergy before I begin westernization. Because if I don't, well, we're simply never going to be able to curtail the clergy, given the fact that we need +1 stability in order to do so. So, for instance, if I started westernization, that would bring my stability down to -3. And then to curtail the clergy, I'd have to bring it back up to +1. Also taking the view that it has an increased cost and stability whilst that vent is active. So basically, for the love of God, don't forget to curtail the clergy before we begin westernization. Hopefully I can remember that. So let's get our army size up to a reasonable level, and then it'll be a quick declaration of war on Morocco. Probably get away with pure infantry. Since we already have 5 cavalry, yeah, pure infantry will be fine. Development's about to hit the cap. We will not be spending that in technology, because technology costs a ton when not westernized. And here's a nice decision, importing iron. For the time being, I will be going for the additional monarch power, because again, we are a Muslim faction. We expect to be dramatically behind in tech. So, you know, let's see if we can keep up. So development in Iran, of course, taking advantage of reduced development cost with the fact that it's our capital province, and also that we have over 80% loyalty with the Merchants Guild. Increase army maintenance. Probably also can get away with not activating my forts. Emperor's enacted a reform. Great. So, I'm not expecting this war to be anywhere near as difficult as the last war. The last war was a frickin' disaster. Total disaster, but that's exactly why we had 25, 26 loans at the start of this episode. Mission complete. Well, we're about to declare war on Morocco, so that doesn't sound like a too bad idea. Still have our military leader left over from the last war. Yep, let's go ahead. Find their army. It'll probably be in their capital. And so that's exactly where I'm heading. We might be able to catch it in slightly lower maintenance. We do. Can we get the stack right? Yes, okay. Easiest war ever. So that's basically Morocco defeated. Not exactly difficult war. This is our first walkover of the Granada Re-Reconquista run. Our first and probably our last, given the fact that once we've dealt with Morocco, we're not exactly going to be fighting Tunis. So we'll be brawling it out with the major parts of Europe. Portugal, Castile, Aragon, France, and God knows what else. Hopefully that by that time we might have accrued sufficient favours with the Ottomans to have them join us, but we could probably complete our objectives without them. So just spreading my troops out, occupying what provinces I can. There's our trade ships. Thankfully dealing with the mighty Moroccan fleet consisting of total 3 transport ships and a trade ship. So again, a bit of a walkover. The main reason of finishing off Morocco is, well, there's actually a number. I want to really deal with them before they have the opportunity to form any alliances with any major powers. Not to mention the fact that winning this war and fully annexing their territory is going to give me about... Well, it's going to give me a bunch of power projection, maybe 40 or 50 in total. With 100 power projection and the increased army morale that you get, that's going to really help us. Not only army morale, also boost naval morale, so... We'll finish off the Moroccans. They have actually managed to mass up a considerable army there, down in Agadir, 5,000 troops. So we can curtail the clergy. I think... Bordering increases. Well, let's check our inflation. It's 14.42. Reducing inflation costs 75. We'll be spending 100. So then again, we need the administrative power for the coring of Moroccan territory. 10 loans. So they're attacking. I will assign my leader in Abdo. We will be able to extricate army from that province before it's attacked. So we'll marshal up our forces, leaving 1,000 troops in the capital, Marrakesh, ensuring that we don't reset the siege. You can see I'm taking all the money I can at the moment just to help me pay off these loans. We are now a negative prestige, but don't get the stack wipe this time, but that should be fine. Once we complete down the siege, we'll be able to pursue their retreating army. They only have 1 fortification, so again, once this is sieged down, war effectively won. Yeah, this is definitely the sort of breathing space I was talking about at the start of this guide. Things at the start are extremely hectic and fast-paced. Later on, you sort of have this calm before the storm, just boosting a bit more development in a gold-producing province. And after the calm, there's of course the storm, and the storm is going to be fighting Portugal, Castile and Aragon. And very similar to my last war with Morocco, there's 11,000 peasant rebels have risen up in Haha, I believe that's that province name. Thankfully, those rebels did not rise up on the province that I was occupying. If they did, that would be pretty ridiculous. In fact, there's 2 more peasant rebel risings, so we'll probably have to deal with that. Might have to hire some mercenaries to defeat those armies. So, can we stack out this Moroccan army? Nope, but we should be able to... Never mind. Okay, so we are going to have to deal with the rebels. So, just like in my last war with Morocco, where rebels rose up in the 2 provinces my army was occupying, more Moroccan peasant rebels have risen up, and we're going to have to defeat both those armies. I really can't catch a break. These damn Moroccan peasant rebels, they will be the death of me. I mean, there's 22,000 of them. That's close to 2 times my total army size. Luckily, they're leaderless. We have much more cavalry and a general. So I'll try and defeat this army. Hopefully we'll get decent rolls. Pretty bad rolls, but peasants dealt with nonetheless. Wait for my army morale to recover, and then I'll go ahead and see if I can eliminate this Moroccan army. We do have a little time before those damn Moroccan peasant rebels siege down the Moroccan capital. So I'll focus on fully occupying Morocco and defeating their last army. Pursue it into Ifni. Alright, Moroccan army defeated. That was the easy part. The hard part is Moroccan peasants. So, opt for full occupation, and then looks like we're going to have to take a difficult offensive battle against those peasant rebels. So we might actually have to recruit a few more troops in order to deal with them. Yeah, we can avoid the river crossing, so go ahead and take the battle now. We should be fine. They are leaderless, only one cavalry regiment, so it should be a bit of a walkover actually. Good rolls. Okay, peasants dealt with. Go for the full annexation. Yeah, some reasonably high value provinces. Sugar is a particularly valuable commodity, so yeah, we should be able to fully annex. There we go. There's Morocco finally vanquished. And so completes basically our expansion into Africa. Low army maintenance. And mothball all fortifications. Alright, Morocco successfully defeated. Increase autonomy. Don't want to have yet more rebels rise up in the newly conquered provinces. You must be down to only half a dozen loans now, so things are looking fairly good. Increase autonomy in these last two provinces. Yeah. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. There we go. Ottomans are finally attacking the Mamluks. See, I did say it would happen. Happened later than I expected, but as usual, Mamluks and Ottomans always like to fight over the Levant. And every single time I've seen it happen, it's been a complete walkover. Usually the Mamluks don't even fight many battles. They just abandon the provinces and accept a peace treaty. Now, we could have declared war on the Mamluks when they're fighting the Ottomans, but like I said, usually the Mamluks don't opt for the pitched battles against the Ottomans. So they will probably have retained a considerable army size, probably much higher than we'd be able to deal with, so not too bad. I'm just waiting for my war exhaustion to drop before I core these newly conquered provinces. I want to save as much administrative power as I can. Revolt risk is low, of course, because of accepted culture and high autonomy. And we are closing in on the max military monarch power, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. Repay these two loans. Yeah, Mamluks, as usual, are getting crushed by the Ottomans. In fact, there you go, war over. And like I said, the wars are usually extremely brief and decisive, and Mamluks oftentimes don't even fight pitched battles with the Ottomans, which is why it wouldn't really have worked if I tried to declare war on them and maybe take 3 or 4 provinces. Right, I'm at the stage here where I'm going to want to begin calling certain. So I accidentally reached my max military monarch power, so I went ahead and boosted my development in the gold producing province. Militarily first, that brought the diplomatic development level up a little bit as well, spending diplomatic power. So cores constructed, we didn't have enough to core everything. We'll have to wait a little while to get the 2 final cores. We have 1 more rival slot. I'll fill that out later. We still have plenty of power projection, so I'm not too concerned about doing that just yet. Focusing on boosting relations, and right now we're just, like I said, calm before the storm. Focusing on... Damn, I didn't realise actually we didn't get the benefit from lower development costs because our clergy or our merchants' estate things screwed up as a result of the present disaster we find ourselves in. So, never mind. Yeah, spent all that monarch power on boosting development. We pushed our development in a gold-producing province way up to 16 in total. 4 more loans left. We're almost down. Once we get rid of these loans, that'll be great because, again, inflation is not our friend. Not at all. Alright folks, I think I'll go ahead and put a cut in here. I do apologise, this has been another one of those more boring episodes, but things are sure to well, we're sure to find ourselves in plenty more disasters in the future. But for the most part, we're in a pretty strong position. Having taken all the territory we really need in Africa. In future, it's going to be invading the Iberian Peninsula. So I'll put a cut in here, folks. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you soon.